If you want to be a crypto millionaire, then there's only one thing you need to do.
Got about one thing.
Your own research. After all, getting rich in crypto fundamentally involves identifying which coins and tokens have the most potential, and the only way you can do that is by understanding what they do and how they work. That's why today we're going to tell you exactly how we research cryptocurrencies here at the Coin Bureau. My name is Guy, and by the end of this video, you'll have all the info you need to find that next 1000x. Stay tuned. Before you do your research, you first need to identify which cryptocurrencies are worth researching. To put things into perspective, there are literally millions of coins and tokens out there, mostly tokens. Obviously, nobody has the time to go through every single one. You need to narrow down the list. The easiest way to do this is to identify the narratives that are likely to be the biggest during the next crypto bull market. Now, if you watched our video about the biggest narratives of the next crypto bull market, you'll know that these likely include AI, tokenized real-world assets, GameFi, and decentralized social media. It's important to note that this list is not exhaustive, and other big crypto narratives could emerge. For example, decentralized physical infrastructure, aka DePIN, has been another big narrative as of late. Future crypto narratives, meanwhile, could include quantum computing, which we also did a video about. Link to that is in the description. Now, once you've identified the narratives that you believe will be the biggest, then you want to make a list of cryptos that fall into each of these narratives. And here's a pro tip. Most crypto tracking websites, such as CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, tend to have lists of cryptos that fit into popular narratives. When making these lists, there are three things you need to be on the lookout for. First, you want the coin or token to have a low price tag. This is because most retail investors believe that a low price tag means that the crypto in question could pump more, even though it's the market cap that determines its potential. Of course, the second thing to be on the lookout for is the market cap. Ideally, you want to create a list of cryptos for each narrative that include a few large cap cryptos, a few medium cap cryptos, and a few small cap cryptos. This should give you a good range of risk and reward when you put your portfolio together. Now, for reference, large cap cryptos have market caps of more than $1 billion. Medium caps have market caps of more than $100 million, but less than $1 billion. And small caps have market caps of less than $100 million. Again, it's the market cap that determines the potential. Lower market cap means more potential. And this leaves the third thing to look out for, and that's accessibility. You want to make sure that all the coins and tokens on your list are accessible to retail investors, particularly retail investors in the United States. Logically, the cryptos on your list need to be accessible to investors, otherwise they'll have a harder time pumping. Now, once you've made a list of cryptos that fall into each narrative using these criteria, you're now ready to dig in and do some research to figure out which ones are worth holding in your personal portfolio. It goes without saying that this will take a lot of time, especially if your list of cryptos is long. And that is exactly why we made the Coin Bureau Club. It's where we do weekly reviews of promising coins and tokens that fit into big crypto narratives. The cryptos we cover are voted on by our members, who also get access to daily crypto market updates and exclusive Discord channels to discuss crypto trends and much more. So, if you don't have the time to research promising cryptos, then become a member of the Coin Bureau Club using the link in the description. Anyways, the first step to researching a cryptocurrency is to listen to interviews with and presentations by the founders of the project. Over the years, we've come to find that these have been the most valuable resources, as they often reveal important information that you won't find anywhere else. More importantly, founders are often able to explain their crypto projects in a way that the average person can understand. This can not only help you understand the project better when you dive into the documentation later on, but it can also help you identify how it's being pitched to retail investors. For instance, the way that Solana was pitched during the previous crypto bull market was that it was a, quote, Ethereum killer. This gave the impression that Solana could become bigger than Ethereum. Even though this never happened, the speculation of the possibility caused Sol's price to pump like crazy. Now, similarly to creating a list of cryptos that fall into specific narratives, you also want to create a list of interviews and presentations by crypto founders that are worth listening to. The way we do this is to start with the oldest videos with the founders that we can find and work our way up to the present day. Pro tip: see if the crypto project has an official YouTube channel. If it does, then you can often find interviews and presentations there that don't always show up in YouTube search. Also, be sure to check if there have been any live streams on the channel, as these are also hard to find via search. What you're looking for in these interviews is some information about the founder's background, why they began building the project in the first place, how they got it started, i.e. how much money they raised and from whom, how the project works, and what plans they have for it going forward. After listening to a few interviews, you should have a sense of whether the project is worth researching in depth. It's safe to say that not all crypto projects are. That's why we always start with the interviews. If we get the sense that the project is bad, we won't waste our time researching it further. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to smash that like button to give it a boost, subscribe to the channel, and ping that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Now, the second step to researching a cryptocurrency is to look at some secondary sources and statistics. These include summaries of the project that were written by reputable companies, as well as a few metrics in terms of user adoption and activity, including social media engagement. In our experience, some of the best secondary sources about crypto projects come from Binance Research and Messari. Also, not to brag, but we too have high-quality altcoin reviews on our website. Now, for in-depth information about ICOs and tokenomics, consider CoinGecko, Token Unlocks, and ICO Analytics. We also like to look at websites like Crunchbase to get a sense of the entities behind the project in question. Most crypto projects will have a software company and a non-profit foundation behind them. Websites like Crunchbase often contain information about them, including funding rounds and hidden founders. Regarding adoption metrics, meanwhile, these include looking at how many new wallets and active wallets there are using blockchain explorers, looking at how many downloads the crypto project's browser extension wallet has had, if it has one, looking at dApp usage on dAppRadar and DeFi TVL on DeFi Llama. Pro tip: try and see if you can find the rich list for the crypto in question. If it's a token on a smart contract cryptocurrency like Ethereum, this should be easy to do using explorers like Etherscan. If it's a new Layer 1, this might be more difficult, but the absence of this info should be taken as a red flag. Likewise, if you find that most of a crypto's supply is held by wallets which are not smart contracts, be careful, because that means that these whales could theoretically sell and crash the price. Now, the purpose of reading through the secondary sources is to get another rundown of the project and check and see whether the information is consistent with what you heard in the interviews. Sometimes it isn't, and this is often because the secondary sources aren't always that accurate. Similarly, the purpose of looking at adoption metrics is to see whether the project is truly growing as much as the founders claim it is. You'll find that founders do have a habit of exaggerating just how much adoption their projects are seeing. So, always verify this information yourself. As for social media engagement, we typically look at the number of followers a crypto project has on Twitter, aka X, relative to the engagement that each post is getting. A high follower count with low engagement isn't a good sign, nor is it a good sign if it's inconsistent with on-chain adoption metrics. And remember to check the socials, such as LinkedIn, for the companies and non-profits involved in the project too. This gives you additional information about where the crypto project is based, how many people are working on it, and just how transparent it really is. If you find that the project's socials have been dormant for a while, then it's probably dead, or at least close to it. This can be easy to miss if you only pay attention to the price action, which is often manipulated by speculators even long after the project itself has closed its doors. Now, assuming everything looks good by the end of this step, you can proceed to step 3. The third step to researching a cryptocurrency is to see what the crypto media has been saying about it, if anything. If the crypto media hasn't been saying anything about it, then either you're very early or the project doesn't have much potential. Ideally, there's at least one mention of it somewhere. For context, the crypto media outlets we look at the most are Cointelegraph, Coindesk, Decrypt, The Block, CryptoSlate, and DL News. We consider these to be the most reputable. Although each one comes with its biases, looking at all of them together should give you a rounded view of what's going on in crypto. And the same is true when it comes to assessing the quality of a crypto project. If it's gotten loads of coverage from most or even all of these media outlets, then chances are it's legit. Otherwise, well, they wouldn't have reported on it. Again, if there are no headlines at all, you're either early or it's not as legit as it seems. More often than not, you'll find that one of these media outlets has reported about a certain crypto project more than the others, and that some of the others have made zero mention of it. Again, this is due to the biases of each of these outlets, which can give you additional insight into the project itself. You'll have to DYOR about these crypto media biases on your own time. Pro tip though, look into who owns them and funds them. Now, if the crypto project you're analysing has passed the sniff test of the crypto media, then you're ready for step 4, which is to dig into the blogs of these projects. We say blogs because most crypto projects have blog posts scattered between various platforms, such as Medium. This can be very annoying when it comes to trying to put together a picture of the project's historical milestones, but it's something you must do to get a sense of how far it's come and where it's going. Not surprisingly, most of the crypto media headlines come from these blog posts. As such, you could say that looking at crypto media headlines is analogous to looking at the secondary sources about a crypto project. Both give you a sense of the lens through which the rest of the crypto industry views this coin or token, along with the transparency of this project, or the lack thereof. Anyhow, blog posts are extremely useful because, like interviews, they often reveal important things that you won't find anywhere else. These include previous technical issues, additional funding rounds, future milestones, and additional AMAs with the founders. For us here at the Coin Bureau, the most valuable part of looking at blog posts has been discovering other promising crypto projects in the same narrative. This is how we've come across most of the projects we review for our members in the Coin Bureau Club, and remember, the link to that is in the description. Now, as with the interviews and presentations, we always start from the very beginning and work our way up to the present. This can naturally be extremely time-consuming, but again, it's often well worth it. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can pull up internet archives to see if any blog posts have been deleted. This can give you a sense of whether the project has been trying to cover up its past. Spoiler alert, many of them do, but many of them also forget to scrub their old blogs on Medium and elsewhere. Finding these abandoned blogs can likewise give you insight into the true quality of the project. And here is another pro tip. Remember to check the blog posts of all the entities involved, not just the crypto project itself. This means checking the blog posts of the companies and non-profits involved too. Okay, by this point you probably know whether it's worth following through with step 6, which is to go through every single resource on the crypto project's associated websites. These include the website of the software company and the non-profit organization and the crypto project itself. We typically start off with the websites for the company and/or non-profit organization, as they tend to have the least information. Sometimes you can't even find a website for these entities, which can be frustrating. Make no mistake, a lack of transparency by these entities is always a bad sign. When you find the websites for the companies or the non-profits, then the first things you should check are the terms and conditions and the privacy policies. These often reveal the official names of the entities behind the crypto project, as well as their location. If you can't find this info, that too is a bad sign. Now, when I say go through every single resource, I mean clicking on every single link you can find to see where it takes you and what information it reveals. Most of the info you come across should be consistent with what the founders have said about the project and the other primary sources you found. In other words, it's likely to be a very surface-level overview of the project. Even so, it should give some more information regarding things like tokenomics, key features, and future plans. As with the founder interviews, be sure to take note of how the project's website portrays it to investors. As a rule of thumb, the project should make it clear that its purpose is to address a particular pain point in the niche or narrative that it's in. At this point in crypto's evolution, the idea of general-purpose blockchains that can do everything and more is becoming less and less viable and less believable. In plain English, it appears that each cryptocurrency is starting to have a single focus. Those that claim to have multiple points of focus are likely to be less competitive on all fronts. At the very least, they're unlikely to stick out compared to other projects in the niche which explicitly state what their roles are. Now, at some point during your sweep of the website, you will come across the crypto project's documentation. From our perspective, this is the most important source of information. Now, while the documentation can be intimidating from a technical perspective, you must go through it all. You'll be surprised to find that the beginning of each section of the documentation tends to be written in a way that anyone can understand. If the documentation is missing critical information about how a crypto project works or its tokenomics, then that is a massive red flag that you need to take note of. Pro tip: if the documentation has a search function, use this to try and find any answers to any questions you may have about the project. Most documentation will have an FAQ section or a glossary of key terms that can have the answers. If not, you should be able to find them with the right search inputs. Now, to wrap it all up, let's take it from the top. Start by compiling a list of cryptocurrencies that fit into narratives that are likely to be big during the next crypto bull market. Pay attention to the price tag, the market cap, as well as the availability of this crypto on centralized exchanges. Next, watch interviews with and presentations by the founders of the projects. Get a sense of what the crypto is, how it works, why it was made, and where it's headed next. Pay attention to the way the crypto is being pitched and whether this is something that retail investors would understand. Then look at what secondary sources have to say about the project, starting with websites that have trustworthy altcoin summaries, such as the Coin Bureau, and then pivot to see what the crypto media has to say, if anything. Pay attention to anything that suggests the crypto project is opaque in any way. After that, dig into the blogs related to the project, remembering not to forget that most crypto projects often have a software company and a non-profit behind them. Pay attention to any blog posts that contain information about future milestones and other promising crypto projects. And finally, go through all the websites associated with the project you're researching from top to bottom, taking note of any inconsistencies with other primary sources such as founder interviews and the blog. Pay attention to the documentation, as it will contain all the information you need to have a complete analysis. Once you've gone through this process with every crypto on your initial list, you should end up with a few coins and tokens that could moon and are therefore worth adding to your portfolio. And if you need help making your crypto portfolio, well, we happen to have a video about that too, and the link will be in the description. And that, my friends, is all for today's video. So if you found it helpful, help us out by smashing that like button. If you want to keep getting this helpful crypto content, then subscribe to the channel and ping that notification bell as well. And if you want to help others in their crypto journey, take a second to share this video with those who might find it useful. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.